The Italian peninsula had been in political chaos since the 5th century. After the Western Roman Empire fell in 476, the Eastern emperors in Constantinople thought they should oversee the West. In 535, General Belisarius, serving under Emperor Justinian I, went into Italy and destroyed the Ostrogoths by 540. By 554, the Byzantine Empire was back in Italy, and its lands there became an exarchate with Ravenna as the main city. The Lombards, a Germanic tribe, and their king Albion came to Italy in 568 from Hungary. They set up a kingdom in northern Italy, with Pavia as the capital. The Lombard kingdom often faced internal problems and fought with the Byzantines to the south and the Franks to the north in modern-day France. King Agilulf did a lot to help the Lombard kingdom stay strong and stable. He made friends with Pope Gregory I and made sure the Lombards switched to Catholicism without any problems. In the 8th century, King Liutprand made laws based on Roman ideas and expanded the kingdom to the south. King Aistulf followed Liutprand's ideas but wanted to expand towards Rome, which caught the attention of the Franks. In the 1770s, King Desiderius kept fighting with the papacy and even threatened Rome. The Pope asked the Franks for help. To make peace, the Frankish King Charles married Desiderius' daughter, but the marriage didn't last. Charles divorced her and married someone else, which made Desiderius mad. In return, Desiderius gave shelter to Charles's former sister-in-law, who had run away to Lombardy. Charles saw this as a challenge to his power as the king of the Franks. Charles didn't let Desiderius off the hook for his actions. In 773, Charles had Pope Adrian I by sending his armies to Italy and besieging Desiderius' capital, Pavia. Charles won and took control of northern Italy. To show his gratitude, Pope Adrian crowned Charles as King of the Lombards in 774. In 797, Irene of Athens became the Emperor of the Byzantine Empire. After being assaulted, Pope Leo III sought refuge with Charles, who helped him return to Rome. In 1800, Charles went to a Christmas Day Mass in St. Peter's Basilica, Rome, where the Pope crowned him Emperor of the Romans. For about 70 years after 774, the kings of Italy were often absent. Charles didn't visit Italy much, and his successors were more focused on politics in the Frankish territories. After the Treaty of Verdun in 843, the Carolingian Empire split into West Francia, in modern-day France, East Francia, in modern-day Germany, and Italy as major kingdoms. From 844 onwards, Emperor Louis II ruled as King of Italy, actively working to restore royal authority and passing laws against robbery and abuse of power in 850. Louis II's reign marked the peak of Carolingian influence in the Italian peninsula. During the time of the Lombards and the Carolingians, the popes in Rome gradually increased their secular authority and autonomy from the emperor in Constantinople, despite being under their control since the reconquest in 535. As Rome faced challenges like the Lombards, responsibility for Rome's well-being shifted from the Roman Senate to the popes, notably under Pope Gregory I. This autonomy became crucial in the 730s when Emperor Leo III, an iconoclast, clashed with the popes of Rome over religious images. By the mid-8th century, the pope sought Frankish support against the Lombards, and after 756, they gained control over Ravenna. The popes maintained control of a stretch of land between Rome and Ravenna, giving birth to the Papal States as an independent state. By confirming Charles as Roman emperor, the popes essentially broke away from the Roman emperors in Constantinople. Another state that formed in the area during this time was the city of Venice. Venice was built after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Lombard invasions in 568 pushed people from the mainland to the Lagoon Islands. These islands joined the Byzantine Exarchate of Ravenna in 584. Urso became the first chosen doge, or duke, in 727, followed by Byzantine officials until 751, when the Exarchate of Ravenna ended. Internal conflict happened, with settlements competing for power. Doge Obliero allied with the Franks in 810, putting Venice under Frankish rule to avoid Byzantine control. Support for Byzantium led to the government moving to the Rialto Islands. A Franco-Byzantine agreement in 814 allowed Venice to have political and legal independence from the Carolingian Empire. By 841, the Doge began to make their own agreements with other countries. Issues over the Doge being elected by certain families didn't hinder trade growth. More private wealth led to stability and a larger ruling class in the city. A shared identity emerged, and from the late 9th century, Doges were elected by the people. Louis II's death in 875 began a tumultuous period for the Carolingian kingdoms. After Charles the Fat ruled Italy from 879 to 887, the Carolingian kingdoms started to shift away from Carolingian dominance and to become under the control of local nobles. Berengar I emerged as one such king for Italy in 888. Berengar's rule coincided with big changes in Italian politics. For the king, the balance of power between the counts and bishops became crucial, with kings relying on local support and the clergy to maintain stability. Berengar decentralized military defense by granting rights to build and fortify castles to individual people, unintentionally contributing to the rise of localized military power. By the 10th century, ruling families with local roots gained much influence. Cities remained administrative centers, but shifted focus to family politics rather than royal intervention. Despite Berengar's efforts to keep power, the autonomy of regions like Tuscany and Spoleto, while royal authority rotted. The situation persisted under King Hugh, who also struggled to assert power. Outside intervention and foreign power bases became standard for maintaining control in Italy. Louis the German, who was Charles's grandson, took control of East Francia after the Treaty of Verdun. He played a big role in shaping medieval Germany. He supported Christianity, helped monasteries, and encouraged the German language and literature. Because of his efforts, his kingdom became distinctly German. After Louis died in 876, the Carolingian dynasty had problems with conflicts inside and out. The East Frankish kingdom became weaker as the Carolingian kings struggled to protect it. Regional dukes took over control of the military, politics, and the economy. When Louis the Child died in 899, leaders from Saxony and Franconia stopped following the tradition of electing a Carolingian king. Instead, they picked Conrad, Duke of Franconia, as their king, ending Carolingian rule in Germany. Henry I became king in 919, and power shifted from the Franconians to the Saxon Ottonian dynasty. The Ottonian kings depended on the church for governance, giving land to bishoprics. Passing titles through families led to the rise of more powerful dynasties. The king's authority was maintained by traveling and calling on regional leaders to discuss matters of the kingdom. During this time, there was a lot of disagreement about who should be the Emperor of the Romans in the West. Charles was given the title in 800, but after that, it kept changing hands among his successors. Louis the German tried to bring the empire back together by invading his brother, Charles the Bald, the king of West Francia, but it failed. This led to the Treaty of Verdun in the first place. Besides Charlemagne and his son Louis the Pious, the only one from the Carolingian family who claimed the title independently was Charles the Fat. When he died in 888, the title meant little. Otto I became king of East Francia in 936. At the request of Adelaide, the widow of the former king of Italy and prisoner of its current one, Berengar II, he invaded Italy in 951, defeating Berengar II and married Adelaide, which made him the legitimate king of both Germany and Italy. After Otto's victory over the Magyars in 955, he became a powerful ruler and was crowned Emperor of the Romans by Pope John XII in 962. Thanks to Otto, the Holy Roman Empire once again had legitimate power. Otto II was elected in 973, but had some issues, like a disastrous campaign in southern Italy against the Muslims. Otto III became emperor at a young age and had to deal with the regency. Unfortunately, he died before he could do much in 1002. Henry II followed Otto III and had to deal with Arduin of Ivrea, who was elected as King of Italy shortly after Otto III died. Henry became the King of Italy in 1004 without defeating Arduin. Arduin got back in charge after Henry left. It wasn't until 1014 that Henry finally became Holy Roman Emperor in Rome. Even then, he didn't bother ruling his northern Italy and let Germans govern the country in his place. Henry III, who was part of the Sicilian family, wanted to have control over choosing important church leaders like bishops and abbots. Normally, this was a job for the Pope. Around the 11th century, a reform movement in the Roman Catholic Church wanted to make the Pope more powerful and keep the Church free from interference by the Holy Roman Emperors. This disagreement, called the Investiture controversy, became heated when Pope Gregory VII said only the Pope could choose church officials. When Emperor Henry IV challenged this, he got kicked out of the church, or excommunicated. To make amends, he had to submit to the Pope at the Walk to Canossa in 1077. Henry IV took a humiliating journey across the Alps and waited at Canossa Castle for 3 days before the Pope forgave him. Even after Henry surrendered, more issues came up. A group against the Emperor put Rudolf, Duke of Swabia, in place of Henry IV in 1077. This sparked the Great Saxon Revolt. After a siege of Rome in 1083, Henry put Pope Clement III on the papal throne and made him himself Holy Roman Emperor. The Saxon Revolt settled down by 1088. In 1122, the emperors and the Pope worked things out with the Concordat of Worms. Pope Calixtus II and Emperor Henry V reached an agreement. From then on, bishops would be chosen following church rules and appointed by church leaders, not the emperor. Italy came under more imperial control when Frederick, a member of the Hohenstaufen dynasty, got the title of Holy Roman Emperor in 1220. Frederick also ruled the Kingdom of Sicily when he was young, which covered the whole southern half of Italy. The Kingdom of Sicily started when the Normans took over in the 11th and 12th centuries. The Normans were originally Vikings from Scandinavia who took over northern France, now called Normandy. Famously in 1066, a Norman duke named William conquered England. The Normans then went down to southern Italy to work as soldiers for the local Arabs, Lombards, and Byzantines. One guy, Tancred de Hauteville, took charge and started Norman rule in the area. Over time, the Normans kicked out all the other groups and made the Kingdom of Sicily in 1130. When Frederick II was elected as Holy Roman Emperor, the emperor now controlled all of Italy except for Venice and the Papal States. The rivalry between the emperors and the papacy is best shown in the rivalry between the Guelphs and the Ghibellines, who didn't like each other from the 12th to the 14th centuries. The Guelphs supported the Pope, while the Ghibellines backed the Holy Roman Emperors. The conflict became a major deal when Emperor Frederick Barbarossa tried to control northern Italy with his army. In response, 16 cities in northern Italy, like Verona, Padua, and Milan, formed the Lombard League in 1167. With the Pope's help, they fought against Frederick's army at Lugano in 1176 and won, forcing Frederick to leave the Italian cities alone. Florence especially was a fierce battleground between the Guelphs and the Ghibellines. The side that lost often got kicked out of the city. One notable person who got exiled was the poet Dante Alighieri. After the Ghibellines took over in 1302, Dante, who was a Guelph, was sent away. He then soon wrote the Divine Comedy, a famous book that takes the reader through hell, purgatory, and paradise. This book is still important today and has greatly influenced how people imagine hell. The Guelphs mainly had support from wealthy merchants because supporting the Pope meant less tax for the emperor. The Ghibellines had support from rural farmers and feudal aristocrats because they were worried that the Pope could come and take over their lands. In many cases, cities would flip to the other faction on a whim if it became inconvenient or if it met their needs. Over time, the meaning of the Guelph and Ghibelline conflict changed. After the Hohenstaufen dynasty lost control of the Kingdom of Sicily in southern Italy in 1266, the two sides started representing their economic interests rather than just opposing each other. Even today, you can see a city's past allegiance in their flags. Guelph cities usually have a red cross on white, while Ghibelline cities have a white cross on red. The rivalry between the Guelphs and Ghibellines could only be so because of the Italian cities. In the 12th century, a bunch of communes, run by the people, popped up all over central and northern Italy. Almost every city was under communal governance by 1140. As cities spread into nearby areas, they started fighting for control, and who they allied with changed depending on what was happening locally. The communes wanted to be politically independent and in charge of their nearby regions. To prevent one group from taking over, they began setting up constitutions and term limits. Even though the Investiture controversy messed up the connection between the church and the empire, its effects weren't only about religion. By the early 13th century, city authority was more powerful than the church in places like Genoa. This trend continued in cities like Milan, Florence, Bologna, and others. Shortly after that, a new type of government called the Signoria, which means lordship, came about in the old communes. The communes used to have a lot of problems with fights among nobles, usually because of personal, economic, or local political issues. In reaction to this, the Popolo movement, which means the people, started within the communes. It was made up of non-nobles who wanted the nobles to make some concessions. Those in the Popolo group were rich people in trade, banking, and land ownership, along with successful artisans or shopkeepers. They wanted to handle money better, have more say in important stuff, and make sure justice was fair. In some places, the Popolo movement even changed local constitutions, adding new councils to the ones already there. Florence was one city where the Popolo became powerful. However, the Popolo in most towns couldn't handle public order issues. In the second half of the 13th century, powerful leaders called Signoria came to power. They used strong force to bring stability. These Signoria passed down the rule to their families, and over time, people got used to it. By the end of the 14th century, Signoria rule became common in northern Italy. Different families, like the Della Scala in Verona, the Carrara in Padua, Gonzaga in Mantua, and the Visconti in Milan, took control of more cities in northern Italy. In the Papal States, towns in Romagna and the Marche also ended up under the rule of Signoria. The Signoria changed their attitudes towards authority in northern and central Italy. But not every area liked being ruled by Signoria. Tuscany resisted, and in some spots like Nusha and Genoa, they kept the republic governments. Venice and Florence, two cities with a history of being republics, didn't let Signoria take over. Their strong economies and leaders kept things in order and didn't let any one person or family have too much power. The rise of communes and the Signoria also changed the economy. By the end of the 13th century, the traditional serfdom system had mostly disappeared. Instead, peasants started to either own their land or work on land leased to them. Here, landlords gave half the seats, and in return, they got half of what the tenant produced. At the same time, farming was getting more organized. Small pieces of land were combined into larger farms. Money made from trade and farming was used to build things like roads and drainage systems and buy animals. The old way of having scattered pieces of land and villages with walls turned into big estates owned by urban landowners controlling large patches of land. Trade also changed. Businessmen who lived in one place influenced agents in other areas through letters. New ways of doing business emerged. Italians brought forward innovations like using Arabic numerals and having new bookkeeping techniques like double entry, marine insurance, bills of lading, and bills of exchange. The Italians were also really good at trade in the Mediterranean. Italian traders went to the Black Sea to transport grain, fish, salt, spices, and slaves. They even went as far as Azerbaijan, the Caspian Sea, and China. New tools like the compass and better shipbuilding made it easier to explore by sea. The main centers of trade were the two powerful maritime republics of Venice and Genoa. Venice's rise to power in the east began in 1082 when the Byzantine Emperor Alexios Communes I let them trade freely in the Byzantine Empire without paying taxes. Then, in the late 11th century, the Crusades got Western Europeans interested in Mediterranean trade, and Venice wanted to be at the forefront. During this time, Venice expanded its territory along the lagoon and the Dalmatian coast, making itself richer and more powerful. Between 1140 and 1160, Venice became a republic, with the Doge becoming less powerful. The Great Council of 45 took care of political and administrative roles, while a minor council of 6 worked with the Doge on executive powers. A deteriorating rivalry with the Byzantines resulted in the Fourth Crusade in 1204. This led to the capture and looting of Constantinople and the downfall of their Byzantine rival. Venice became a big trading empire in the eastern Mediterranean, including islands in the Aegean Sea, Crete, and parts of Euboea. In 1261, the Byzantine Emperor took back Constantinople with the help of the Genoese, challenging Venice's trade. Venice's main rival was the Republic of Genoa. Once a small fishing village on the Ligurian coast, Genoa soon became important. In the 11th century, the people of Genoa joined together on their own to form a commune. The leaders were not very important nobles, but they were rich. In the 12th and 13th centuries, Genoa became a big deal in Europe. Like Venice, it was a powerful force in trade and had a strong navy. The city was excellent at international trade, especially in banking, building ships, and making textiles. Genoa grew its influence by taking control of Liguria, Corsica, and part of Sardinia. It also set up its own colonies for trade around the Mediterranean. They did this through crusades and diplomacy. When the Crusader states fell apart in the late 13th century, Genoa made up for it by making alliances and expanding. One alliance with the Byzantine Empire helped Genoa become really powerful, especially in the Black Sea. An unusual period of a lot of rain in 1315 Europe ruined crops like wheat, barley, and oats. Making hay was difficult because of the wet weather. The next year, 1316, had more rain after a very cold winter, and the harvest failed again. Salt, which was vital for making cheese and preserving food, became hard to find. In 1317, strong storms destroyed newly planted grain, topsoil, and dikes. Livestock got sick in the cold, muddy fields, and many animals and people became malnourished and ill. About 10 to 20% of the people in cities died in Europe. It took 5 more years to fully restore the food supply. Northern Italy was somewhat spared from the Great Famine of 1315 because of the Alps protected it from the heavy rain. However, the famine marked the end of a prosperous era of population growth and stability that Italy and the rest of medieval Europe had been enjoying for centuries. By 1347, the Mongol hordes had begun penetrating their way into Europe and already started to conquer Italian port cities on the coast of modern-day Ukraine. The Mongol armies besieged Genoa's port in Kaffa in southern Crimea. Growing desperate, the Mongol army began to throw diseased corpses over the walls. The disease then spread to fleas living on rats. Merchant ships and their rats left the port and then traveled to Constantinople, Sicily, and Crete. From there, onto Italy. People quickly began reporting fatigue, soreness, and nausea. Their skin started to produce large protruding buboes, black in color. Other people woke up coughing up blood in the morning, and by midday, their lifeless bodies stood still and rotting. The Black Death had arrived. The Black Death had infected all of Western Europe by 1349 and killed people in the tens of thousands by the day. The infected corpses were at first buried in separate graves, but the high mortality rate, which went to kill as much as 60% of Europe's population in the end, forced people to bury the dead in mass graves. Some regions in Italy, like in Milan, were not affected as much. Tuscany, however, was hit hard. Florence's population was reduced from 120,000 inhabitants in 1338 to 50,000 in 1351. The economy of the town of Siena nearly collapsed. The Black Death subsided in 1353, but more outbreaks of the bubonic plague continued sporadically throughout the rest of the 14th century. One particularly devastating outbreak was the run after the first wave, between 1360 and 1364. This is because it wiped out much of the new younger generation born after the first wave. Also during this time, people started using crossbows a lot, and these were more dangerous and more powerful than regular bows. Knights on horses needed stronger armor because of this, and horses had to be bigger. This then made war more expensive. Instead of levying regular people as soldiers, hiring paid soldiers called mercenaries became popular. In the 14th century in Italy, the city-states hired condottieri, mercenary contractors with bands of soldiers to meet military needs. People got worried that these Italian commanders might take control of the cities, so the city-states started hiring non-Italian condottieri, many from Germany. From the 1380s to the 1450s, there were several big wars in Italy, mainly led by the Visconti family from the Duchy of Milan, especially by Gian Galeazzo Visconti. He got control over a big part of northern and central Italy. This made Venice want more power too, so they started expanding into the Italian mainland. Venice first joined forces with Florence against Milan, but changed sides after Filippo Maria Visconti died in 1447. Florence was growing too. They took over places like Volterra in 1361, Arezzo in 1384, Pisa in 1406, and bought Livorno from Genoa in 1421. But they couldn't conquer Lucca in a war between 1429 and 1433 when they tried to expand more. The plague obviously caused big economic problems. It made money lose its value quickly, and things like trade, farming, and making stuff became risky. This made the prices of things go up a lot as demand skyrocketed but supply plummeted. But for workers, this was kind of good. Because there weren't as many of them due to sickness and death, they got paid more, even the peasants, because their work was more valuable. Because there was a need for more workers, the people who go into the land had to make changes to keep them. This made the wages go up more than the prices, so life got better for most people. It became clear that the old way of doing things in Europe, feudalism, was not working anymore. Mannerism, the system where peasants needed the land to live, also started going away. In the 15th and 16th centuries, Europe's economies moved towards mercantilism. Countries started getting richer by selling more things to other countries. The extra money from all the inheritance went to the rich people who already supported the arts. These rich folks started showing off their wealth, and this led to more exploration and support for the arts in Italy. In the 14th century, some Italian writers such as Dante Alighieri, Petrarch, and Giovanni Boccaccio started something called the Humanist movement. They liked the writings from ancient Greece and Rome. When Constantinople fell in 1453, Greek scholars brought these old texts to Europe. Thanks to the Gutenberg printing press, these classic writings spread quickly. This new period is called the Renaissance, or Rebirth, and it brought Italy and Europe out of the Middle Ages. Humanists wanted the people to have a good education, covering things like arts, exercise, and learning throughout life. The goal was to help individuals reach their full potential and be responsible citizens in society. Humanism marked a change from the medieval ideas of penance to a focus on human creativity and control over nature. It led to a break from religious dogma, encouraged free thinking and criticism, and gave people confidence in human thoughts and creations. The Renaissance truly flourished in Italy in the city of Florence, under the control of the illustrious Medici family. The Medici family became powerful not by fighting wars, but by being really good at business. Their influence grew when they created a bank in 1397, ultimately becoming the wealthiest family in Italy and Europe. They paid artists like Michelangelo and Donatello to make beautiful buildings, statues, and paintings, breaking the rules set by the Catholic Church. One big thing they did was fix the Basilica of San Lorenzo, a famous piece of Renaissance architecture. Michelangelo made the famous statue of David while working for the Medici. The Sforza family was another important family in Italy during the Renaissance. They were from the Romagna region around the 15th century. Giacomo Muzio Sforza, one man from the family, worked as a condottiero for different city-states and leaders in Italy. Giacomo even got his hometown Catanova and turned it into a countship. His son Bosio continued the family name, and his half-brother Francesco helped to make the family famous during the Renaissance. Francesco Sforza, a skilled condottiero, worked for many leaders before becoming the Duke of Milan in 1450. He brought Milan to the forefront of the Renaissance. Francesco's son, Galazzo Maria, became the Duke of Milan in 1466 and improved Milan by building canals and applying court musicians and poets. Ludovico Sforza, also known as Il Moro, took over in 1494. He created a fantastic court and supported the great painter Leonardo da Vinci, who made the famous painting The Last Supper while staying there. The High Renaissance period started in the 1490s and ended in 1527. It was a time where three important artists, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael, made their famous works. Leonardo studied the human body and flight. He made famous paintings like the Mona Lisa and, as mentioned before, The Last Supper. Michelangelo, who was good at sculpting, made famous sculptures like the Pieta and David. He also painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Raphael, who was inspired by Leonardo, made the famous painting The School of Athens. Donato Bramante, the architect of the High Renaissance, designed the Tempietto in 1502. It's a dome structure similar to classical temples. Pope Julius II chose Bramante to plan a replacement for old St. Peter's Basilica. This project took a long time to finish, even after Bramante passed away. After the year 1527, a new style of art called Mannerism showed up. Compared to the High Renaissance, which was all about balance and looking like nature, Mannerism was kind of fake on purpose, very fancy and very strange. In Mannerist art, the people in the paintings often have long arms and legs and small heads. Regardless, some artists, like Titian and Correggio, kept on painting scenes in the Renaissance style. Mannerism stayed popular in Europe until around 1600, when Baroque became more popular instead. The Renaissance also ended because of a series of wars that lasted more than 60 years starting in the 1490s. It was called the Italian Wars. The roots of these wars started in 1458 when Fronte, who was the illegitimate son of King Alfonso V of Aragon, inherited the Kingdom of Naples. In 1494, Fronte died, and his son Alfonso II became the king. Charles VIII of France had a rightful claim to the Kingdom of Naples, and when Fronte died, Charles saw a chance to take it. Charles got support from Ludovico Sforza because Alfonso also had a claim to Ludovico's duchy. Charles gathered an army of 25,000 men, including 8,000 Swiss pikemen, and crossed the Alps, going through Florence and Rome. As Charles approached Naples, Alfonso II gave up his throne to his son Ferdinand, but Ferdinand couldn't defend the kingdom, and Charles entered Naples in February 1495. This led to Emperor Maximilian, Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain, Venice, and even Milan forming an alliance against Charles called the League of Venice. In May, Charles left Naples, taking part of his army north. In July, the League tried to stop Charles from crossing the river Taro at Fornovo. Despite being outnumbered, Charles successfully crossed and won the Battle of Fornovo. In July, Charles made peace with Ludovico and went back across the Alps in October 1495. In the south, Ferdinand of Naples, helped by the Spanish general Gonzalo Fernandez de Cordova, landed with a Spanish army. Though facing initial defeat, Ferdinand returned to Naples by sea and was welcomed by his citizens. The last French stronghold at Gaeta fell in November. Ferdinand died in September 1496, and the crown went to Frederick IV, Alfonso II's brother. Charles VIII died in 1498. Louis XII inherited the French throne and Charles VIII's claim to Naples too. Louis XII also had a claim to Milan through his grandmother. He made deals with Spain, Switzerland, Venice, and Pope Alexander VI, getting ready to go into Italy without anyone stopping him. In 1499, Louis sent his soldiers into Italy and quickly took over important places like Asti, Anon, Valenza, and Tortona. The siege of Alessandria ended with it being captured, causing trouble in Milan. Ludovico ran away from Milan, and the French took over in October 1499, dividing the land as planned with Venice. Ludovico tried to come back in 1500 and briefly took Milan, but he lost in the Battle of Novara in April 1500. After winning, the French became the most powerful in northern Italy. In the Treaty of Granada in November 1500, Louis XII and Ferdinand II of Aragon agreed to share Naples because Louis said the Ottomans might take it over. But they argued later, and in 1502, they turned to fighting each other. The fighting in Naples got worse, with battles like Cerignola and Seminara in April 1503. Naples was taken by the Spanish in May. The French and their Italian friends tried to fight back, but problems with leadership and losing in the Pyrenees made them weaker. In December, Cordoba beat the French decisively at the Battle of Garigliano. The Treaty of Blois, signed in 1504, had Louis XII giving up his claims to Naples and allowing Spain to rule there. However, Emperor Maximilian allowed Louis to keep Milan. In 1507, Pope Julius II wanted to regain control of the Papal States. He got together with Louis and Ferdinand II in Savona to team up against an enemy, which turned out to be Venice. Each member had their own reasons for being mad at Venice. Julius II wanted Ravenna back. Ferdinand wanted parts in Apulia. Louis wanted parts of Milan, and Maximilian had claims in the Venetian mainland. In December 1508, they officially formed the League of Cambrai to go against Venice. The war started in 1509 when Louis declared war in April. The decisive battle, Agnadello, happened in May, and Venice lost. Venice gave up its conquered lands, but the truce didn't last long. In December 1508, the League fell apart. Worried about France's growing power, Pope Julius II made a deal with Venice in February 1510. Then, Julius II made a new Holy League to kick the French out of Italy. The new conflict continued with fights against Genoa and Ferrara, and Julius successfully defended Bologna from a French attack. Despite some early losses, Julius bounced back and made a new Holy League against the French, with the Spanish and English joining. The Holy League, however, fell apart in 1512, and peace deals were made in stages, with Julius II making peace in December 1513, Maximilian in March 1514, and Henry VIII of England in July 1514. The peace didn't last long. In 1515, Francis I of France attacked Italy, winning at the Battle of Marignano in September. The Swiss, who were initially involved, refused to fight, leading to a French victory. Negotiations led to peace, with Pope Leo X agreeing in December 1515, and the Swiss making a lasting peace with France in November 1516. The Treaty of Noyon in August 1516 said France could have Milan in exchange for giving up Naples. By December 1516, peace deals were made among the major powers. The Treaty of Brussels in December 1516, War of a Truce, ended hostilities between Emperor Maximilian and Francis I. Venice was recovering, and the region seemed stable. But again, the peace didn't last, as rivalry between the King of Spain and Holy Roman Emperor Charles V and Francis I led to more war. Francis I wanted to be the Holy Roman Emperor, but lost the election to Charles in 1519. Charles, on the other hand, wanted to be a universal monarch, kind of like Charlemagne, and surpass the Pope's authority. Their rivalry clashed in the 4 Years' War, starting with small fights on the French borders. Despite some early failures, Charles invaded eastern France and made the French leave Milan. In 1522, things got worse for the French in Italy, with a big loss at Bicocca. Nonetheless, Francis chased the imperial army into Italy, leading to the Battle of Pavia in 1525. Francis got badly beaten, captured, and taken to Madrid. The Treaty of Madrid in 1526 put the French in a bad spot. Francis once again gave up his claims to Milan, Naples, and Burgundy. He was released in exchange for his 2 sons and quickly joined the League of Cognac, an anti-Charles alliance made up of the Pope, Milan, Venice, and Florence. In 1527, 20,000 imperial troops, angry about not being paid, attacked Rome. They went on a rampage, killing people and wrecking the city for a month. The Pope barely escaped, but the mutineers besieged his fortress and made him pay a lot of money. 25,000 citizens died, and this event typically marks the end of the High Renaissance. The Peace of Cambrai in 1529, negotiated by Francis' mom and Charles' aunt, known as the Ladies' Peace, finally ended the fighting. Francis gave up claims to Milan and Naples again. As part of the agreement, Francis I married Charles' sister, got his sons back in return, and agreed not to push his claims on Burgundy. Milan eventually became part of Spain when Charles inherited it in 1535, making Spain even more powerful than Italy. After the Peace of Cambrai, Italy enjoyed 6 years of peace. Trouble started in 1536 when Francis disagreed with Spain over who should inherit Milan and invaded Savoy. The war didn't go well for anyone, and in 1538 they agreed to a truce called the Truce of Nice. Francis wasn't happy with how things were, so he made friends with Sultan Suleiman I and King Christian III of Denmark, and went to war again in 1542. The Peace of Crepy in 1544 brought things back to how they were before the war. Francis I died in 1547, passing the throne to his son, Henry II. In 1551, open war started again. Philip II took over Spain after Charles V stepped down in 1556 and divided his empire. Under Philip II, the main battleground moved to the northeastern frontier of France. In 1557, the French suffered defeat at St. Quentin. However, later French victories led to the Treaty of Cateau-Cambrésis in 1559, finally ending the Italian Wars as the French gave up their claims in the peninsula for the last time. During the Italian Wars, Italy was pretty much always in a state of war. Because of this, it became a leader in changing how wars were fought. The Italian Wars changed how armies fought and the strategies they used. This then had a big impact on governments and society. New inventions like cannons, bastions, and using both long spears, pikes, and guns, arquebuses, in battles challenged the old ways of having heavily armored noble cavalry in wars. Charles VIII's invading army in 1494 used a Swiss formation called a pike phalanx. It had 6,000 men who could easily and effectively attack and defend. González de Córdoba improved on this while fighting the French and came up with the Spanish terracos, which were flexible groups of 3,000 infantry soldiers using both pikes and guns. The defining moment where pike and shot proved their superiority on the battlefield was at Cerignola in 1503, where 1,000 arquebusiers were able to slaughter 4,000 French and Swiss troops. The Spanish army saw more success when they introduced the musket in 1521, leading up to the Battle of Pavia. As more and more metal and money were needed to supply and pay larger and larger armies, the control of military affairs shifted more into the hands of kings and central monarchies. This made kings stronger and reduced the power of nobles and aristocrats. This pattern of constantly maintaining large professional armies became crucial for building the absolutist and centralized state of 17th century Europe. By the end of the Italian Wars, Italy had come a long way. Even though various powers like the Byzantines and the Holy Roman Emperors controlled parts of the area since the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476, the Alps made it tough to rule the whole region. Italian cities started forming communes, lordships, and republics. Technically, they were under the control of the Holy Roman Emperors, but they pretty much did their own thing. These city-states, especially Venice and Genoa, became very powerful. Despite problems like famines, plague, and wars, Italy became wealthy. This paved the way for the Italian Renaissance in the 14th and 15th centuries. The city-states had led Europe out of the Middle Ages and into a prosperous era of rebirth and revival. However, by 1559, things were different. Much of Italy was ravaged by war, and now under Spanish control. Only Savoy and Venice were mostly independent. In the 17th century, Italy faced more problems. Famine and plague caused populations to decline in the cities of northern Italy, and wars messed up the export markets. Agriculture and industries struggled due to expansion, soil problems, and economic challenges. The discovery of the New World and overseas routes to Asia shifted the focus of trade from the peninsula and into the hands of the Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, and English. Italy, once known for progress and wealth in Europe, largely lost its independence, prosperity, and importance under foreign control after 1559. Stronger states in France, England, and Germany outshone Italy in the following decades and centuries to come.